I'm in one of these really cool in-person networking groups where you go and you're in person and you're meeting other really cool business owners, and it's awesome. But the other day, one of the ladies in this group, she asked a really good question. She's okay, I'm making around $150,000 a year in my business. So what is that, like 10K-ish per month? But I'm working all the time. How do I work less and make more? How do I work less without losing my income or even increasing my income? I think her question is something that a lot of business owners ask. It's something a lot of business owners find themselves in, starting to see some success in their revenue, right? They've crossed over that 6 figures per year mark. They're caught like a dancing bear in the middle of all of it, working too much for what they're getting paid. And you feel like a dancing bear trapped in the middle of all of this. And you see people around you who seem to be working less and making more, and you want that for yourself, but you don't know how to make that happen. I shared some tips with her, and I thought I'd just share it with you here as well. First thing that I did, I hired a general manager. So you may or may not have met Wendy. She's my general manager. We'll get a picture of her beautiful face up here. She's amazing. Wendy keeps us streamlined. She keeps us organized. She keeps us accountable. We've got this really cool team, Monday.com, and it's just been amazing. Wendy also keeps really dumb shit off my plate. So it allows me as the business owner to focus on revenue driving things, which is really important. What I found as a business owner, not only are you in charge of doing the revenue driving things as a CEO, you're still doing a lot of operations things, and you're maybe managing a person or two on your team. It's a lot for you to do. And it's actually one of the things actively bottlenecking you that's keeping you from that 7-figure level. And it was keeping my friend who asked that question, it's keeping her stuck, is she's not able to put the majority of her attention to revenue generating things because of that. Second thing that I did is I intentionally created deliverables and product that didn't rely on me being the star of the show. So as a business owner, especially if you've seen some success, right? Especially if you're making, let's just say, around $100,000 a year, your ego gets really big. I call it the Sophmore Complex, right? You know, sophomores, like, they're not freshmen anymore. They think they know everything and they're a little insufferable. That's how the attitude that a lot of 6-figure earners have, in my experience, where you've been around the block, you figured out some things, but man, your ego is through the roof. It happens. You think you should be proud of, right? You built a 6-figure business. I think it's amazing, but you still have a lot to learn. You still have a lot to grow. Our ego says, oh, I have to be taking all the sales calls. People won't buy unless I'm the one having the sales calls. I have to be the one doing all the coaching calls or people won't like it. Or I have to be actively overseeing every part of whatever it is you're delivering or people won't like it. That's your ego talking. The reality is the less you're the face of things, the more money you make. The less you're involved, the more your company and your team can just thrive and do it on their own. Most coaches are overwhelming their clients with too much information. I learned this analogy from one of my mentors. He says, teaching too much in your coaching programs is like forcing someone to breathe. So he's like, take a deep breath in and do more and do more and more. It's exhausting for your client to consume all that content. And then for you as the coach, breathe out. And you get to a point where you can't breathe out anymore. And it's a really good analogy because you're exhausted trying to breathe out too much air. They're exhausted trying to take in too much air. I massively simplified my deliverables to give people what they needed to see the results, which most people don't do. Most people know their program probably isn't as good as it should be, so they try to throw more things in it to make it feel more valuable, but you're running around being efficient with your time and being efficient with your client's time. It takes a better coach, a better consultant to say, actually, you need less things and I'm going to remove most of it, but I'm going to keep the things that are actually going to move the needle forward. I read somewhere, I learned this back in the day because I went to school for graphic design. That's what I majored in. And there's a similar quote. A designer knows he has achieved perfection not when there is nothing left to add, but when there's nothing left to take away. That's what a good coach does too. That's what a good deliverable, any deliverables should be that way, where you've achieved perfection, not when there's more to add, but when there's nothing left to take away. When you do that, not only do you have a better product and your customers have better results, but you are doing less work and your students are doing less bullshit homework. I've learned the second thing that you need to do as you're working to make more money while work less is really evaluate, what am I doing with my offer, with my deliverables, And could I be doing less and end up with a better product? The answer is probably yes. Third thing that you need to do, if let's say you're at 6 figures, you're trying to get to 7, you need to start tracking your time. Every time I tell this to one of my, let's just say 100K mastermind students, they get pissy with me. They get so frustrated with me. They're like, I don't want to check my time. I'm not an hourly employee. I'm like, look, yes, you're not an hourly employee. You still need to track your time because right now, I promise you, your time is being wasted on things. I promise. It's one of the reasons why you haven't hit 7 figures yet and why you're in my 100K masterminds because you're trying to get to 7 figures. I got to know where you're spending your time because I can look at that timesheet and tell you why you haven't hit the income you want to hit. So in my experience, most 6-figure business owners waste a ton of time. So you need to track it and then we delegate it and we automate it and we eliminate it. You should be tracking your time and really identifying and auditing, should I be spending my time doing that? Another thing that I think needs to be talked about is the mindset around working less and making more. Do you believe you can actually work less and make more? If not, I have 2 mantras that I prepared for you. First one is, I can work less and make more. A statement of belief. Very simple, very pure. I can work less and make more. Second one that I really like is, the less I work, the more I make. Say that out loud and see how it feels, right? The less I work, the more I make. What happens is you say this, and then your brain starts getting into solution mode. The less I work, the more I make. How? And your brain starts thinking about it. The more you say it, the more your brain is trying to solve that problem. It's kind of like, how do I make that happen? How do I make that true? If you are currently making 6 figures, or really if you're making honestly over $5,000 a month, you qualify to apply to join my 100K mastermind. It's a super exclusive mastermind. It's very intimate. I handpick the students, and it's where I show you how I built a business that brings me $100,000 every single month, not in sales, not in future contracts, and cash collected. You have to be careful because a lot of people claim to be making all this money, but it's not money in their bank. So what I do in the 100K Mastermind is I show people, okay, here's how I make over $100,000 every single month. If you're interested, you can go to mariawendt.com/apply to check out the details there. It's also going to be a link in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it and found it helpful, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe. I say it all the time. I'm going to say it again. Of all entrepreneurs making 7 figures or more, only 1.7% of them are women. And I think that's a shame. And what I do every single day is help more women make millions of dollars. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.